Hi, Anthony. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today. I know your schedule is very busy, so I appreciate you finding some time to talk with me. How's your day going?
Amazing, Cameron. I can't complain. It's a beautiful day out here in Arizona. So what's there to be upset about?
Sure is. It's almost Friday.
Yes, sir. It's amazing. The weekend's what I look forward to.
Me too. I completely agree. Well, I saw at Skin Spirit, you've been expanding nationally. Congratulations on that. And really positioning Skin Spirit as a premium aesthetic brand, which is also very impressive.
Great. Yeah, I've really just been trying to, grow the revenue, increasing the client retention. The clients are everything in this industry. So that's kind of my main point. While also staying competitive with the rest of the market, just because there's so many competitors out there. So that's why I'm really open to hear what you have to offer and, listen to what you have to say.
Awesome. Yeah. So just so that we're aligned, I'd love to, learn more about your current goals and challenges at Skin Spirit. I'd also love to share a few ways that Allergen has helped similar med spas to Skin Spirit grow. And then I'd also love to see if it makes sense for you to explore the next steps with me together. Does that sound good?
Yeah, great.
Okay, awesome. So just to start, I wanted to ask you if you could walk me through your current priorities at Skin Spirit right now.
So our priority is kind of like I said, growing the revenue. Like I want to really expand a lot more over the course of the next couple of years. Like we're doing close to, like $10 million a year in sales, but I kind of want to get closer to that 20 or 30 and just keep growing as a company. But also, like I said, the clients are everything. So the more stuff that we can offer as a business is the more, clients will then, keep coming back and all that stuff. Um, and also just stay up to date with, what's going on in the market. New companies are coming out like yourself with like new products every day. So I'm always open to hear, what's new and what's popping right now to keep the clients coming back.
Yeah, for sure. So how are you currently differentiating from other med spas in such a competitive market?
Um, no, so I completely understand where you're coming from. Honestly, competition is a big one for me. There's just so many med spas nowadays, especially in Scottsdale. Our biggest thing is just like, taking meetings like this and hearing what new opportunities I can do to, expand my customer base and keep the revenue flowing in.
So what are you seeing that other competitors are doing that concerns you the most?
I try not to, pay attention to too much how much the competitors are doing because I want to focus on my own business. But at the same time, just staying up to date with what's new within the industry.
For sure. And then what does your client retention look like for you right now?
So actually, we do get a lot of repeat clients, but it's not as consistent as we like. There's always room for improvement. So people do, kind of tend to, shop around and look what other, med spas are offering, price differences and all that stuff. One of our biggest things is like other med spas might offer the same, service, but we really, want to get to know that person on a personal basis. So we can not only help them in that one procedure, but keep them coming back and getting better as a person.
Yeah, so are you seeing clients return consistently or are they just, trying other providers?
A lot of them are honestly coming back a lot. The more, obviously, the wealthier they are, the more they like to come back. It's the wealthy industry that you need to, make the money. But yeah, I'm really not concerned about how many people are coming back.
Okay. And then so is this how are you seeing this is impacting your revenue or growth? That retention.
Okay. Well, obviously, retention is what we need to grow as a company. So, like I said earlier, these, taking meetings like this and keeping up to date with what the industry has to offer definitely helps us, keep that retention up and keeping those customers happy and satisfied with where they're at instead of, shopping around once they enter the door.
For sure. All right. And then what are your biggest drivers of revenue today? What products or treatments?
I will say it's a little bit of everything. There's a lot of stuff that like we do like through like injections or just like lipo, those machines that you guys offer as well. I would say it's a little bit everything. It kind of depends what the customer wants, which is why we like to provide a variety of different treatments to kind of suit the customer's personal needs.
For sure, the more you have, the more options the customer has.
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome. And then, how do you typically evaluate and adapt or adopt new aesthetic treatments or products?
I usually kind of just like to see it from a customer's standpoint. The business is always going to grow, but it's really like if the customers keep asking about something, we don't offer that. I definitely go out and look into the market and look at what my competitors are doing then, to kind of see how we can incorporate that into our business.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything like specifically you're seeing that don't necessarily have right now and are looking for that other competitors might have, and you see people turning to competitors for those treatments?
Yeah, I mean, we do offer a lot of injectables, but I feel like that's where the market's kind of going and what a lot of people do want nowadays. People are always trying to look younger. And so there's not really a lot of machines that could kind of do that. It's more so the injectables, which is where, I see the future kind of going for a company and just where people are at in today's day and age.
Sure, yeah, for sure. So focusing more on those injectables and Botox
Yeah.
filler stuff. Awesome. And then how do you ensure consistency across all your providers in terms of results and patients?
We just kind of ask for every customer to kind of leave a review, whether that's on our website or just give like a testimonial video after they're done, or just kind of show the before and after pictures because people like to see, they don't like to hear people say, I really like it. They want to see the actual change of what they can actually make themselves look like. So I feel like that's our biggest thing is showing, the process of, between when they come in, step foot in the door, lay out the pricing and everything, showing them that we do offer, even though our prices might be a little bit more, but they do get a lot of, they do get their bang for their buck is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So, and then as far as like your providers and your nurses, doctors, whoever they may be, how are you ensuring that, they are staying consistent with the results they're giving?
Yeah, well, I mean, everything is kind of repetition, and what we do is like what a lot of the other companies do as well is like offer trainings that help these doctors, really learn everything there is to know about what they're about to do the procedure with, so that when they do give the procedures and go over what they can do for the that client, they're really fully aware what the endless possibilities are of giving that procedure.
For sure. And then one thing I'm really curious about when you say like client loyalty, and stuff like that, what tends to make clients stay long term at Skin Spirit versus trying somewhere else?
Well, here at Skin Spirit, like I said earlier, we do offer a very desirable work or like environment. People are right when you step foot in the door. Our receptionist is greeting them, asking them how their day is, getting to know them on a personal basis. Because what a lot happens in a lot of the industry is they step foot in the door, they come get see what they want done, and then they leave and they're like, I didn't really like that place just because who the doctor was or they were recommending too much stuff. So kind of just personalizing it to what the client needs is definitely how we keep them coming back.
Awesome. Yeah. That's kind of exactly where we've seen a big impact too. When clients' results are, more consistent and longer lasting, clients tend to build more trust and are more likely to stay loyal
Yeah.
to that, specific spa, location, whatnot. So then with other med spa partners we've worked with, they've seen improvements in not just retention, but also in average client, what the average client spends, because they feel more confident in the results. So is increasing revenue per client something that you're currently focused on as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's always the goal, because the more money they spend with us, the more, they're obviously coming back, which is what we want. Some people love to get their foot in the door, with like a smaller procedure, and then they see how it goes in a couple of weeks, see how that still looks good, and then they come back for more. Which is what's nice with these injectables, with how the industry is kind of going is like, you come and get a little bit lip filler and you see like, wow, it looks good, but I want a little bit more. And then they come back for another procedure. They love, the people that we have working for our company. So that's part of the reason why they keep coming back.
Making them feel comfortable and confident, for sure.
Yes. It's
I'd
the name of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I'd also love your perspective on this. How important is provider confidence when it comes to delivering treatments? So, like with your nurses or doctors, whoever you have as a provider, how important is it for the provider's confidence to be when it comes to delivering those treatments for you?
Well, like I said, always signing up for those trainings, so they know fully about what, they're fully informed on, what's good and what's bad, what could go wrong throughout the procedure. And then being able to, explain that to the client is really what we like the doctors to do. And the more they're informed, the more they're able to explain to the client what they can do, which is then ultimately they're able to sell more and, kind of make more money for us. So, information is key. So that's kind of what I would say to that.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why our training programs are such a big, important part of what we offer. It's not just the products, but helping your team feel fully confident using those products. So based on what you've shared, it sounds like retention is a little bit of a challenge right now. Standing out in a saturated market is very important to Skin Spirit, and continuing to innovate is a priority. Would you say I captured that correctly?
Yeah, no, of course. And we do already work with a lot of other brands, so we need a strong reason to add or switches to add or switch, to make something work.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely open to hear what you have to say.
Awesome. So based on that, I think there are a few ways that Allergen could really support Skin Spirit. My first, area is product differentiation. So we offer really advanced injectable products designed to deliver longer lasting, more natural results, which can help position Skin Spirit as a premium provider. And then training. This is something you touched on a little bit, and a huge point for us. So one thing our top partners really value is our provider training and certification programs. So this helps ensure that consistency across all your providers, which improves client trust and increases repeat visits. So, when you get nurses, they've obviously had very, different backgrounds, various backgrounds and whatnot, and what they've learned and different trainings they've been to. However, when we come to you as Allergen, they are going through the same exact training program, so they are all on the same page, which really does help. So even let's say a client comes to Skin Spirit and gets a great treatment from one provider, and that provider is not necessarily available the next time they want to come in or what works with their schedule, the next provider is able to provide them that same exact experience and treatment as the next. So it makes things stay really consistent. And
Yep.
then when clients see better, longer lasting results, they're more likely to come back and stay loyal, which is directly impacts your retention and revenue per client. We also support co-branding marketing efforts to help drive awareness and bookings. So how would you say that aligns with what you're currently looking for?
Honestly, I feel like you hit the nail on the head. Like that's kind of what my goal is, as being in the position that I'm in, is to really grow the company, keep the customers coming back, like you all said, but also at the same time keeping up with what's popping in today's market. So I mean, yeah, I really like what you have to provide, and I would kind of love to hear what you have to say more.
Can you give me an objection?
Could the thing is that could kind of hold me back would definitely be cost. What would you recommend cost wise? What's this looking like it's gonna run me?
So I completely understand. Most of our partners actually look at this as a more of a return perspective. If treatments last longer and clients come back more consistently, it typically increases your overall revenue rather than just being an added cost.
Okay. Yeah, and like I totally understand, we do want to like evaluate what you have internally before, jumping the gun and making any decisions irrationally. I'm sure you could kind of understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would expect you to, I wouldn't expect you to make a decision today. My goal is to just explore whether it's worth taking that next step or not.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I definitely be open to, doing a follow-up meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, yeah,
and
just based on our conversation, it sounds like there could be a really strong fit here. And a great next step would be to set up a more detailed demo and walk through specific products and training options tailored to your team at Skin Spirit specifically.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's something I would definitely be open to. Like I said, I would love to, stay. stay up to date with what's happening in the market and up to date with my competitors as well, so we can keep that edge.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that I'm really happy you were able to sit down today. I'll go ahead and send you over a few times, dates that we can lock something in to then go over, all the things we need to go over for that next step and get you more familiarized with Allergen and how we work and, how we could be a great addition at Skin Spirit for you.
Yeah, thank you, Cameron. I really appreciated your time. You did an amazing job. I'm looking forward to speaking to you again.
Awesome. I appreciate your time. This was super helpful. Okay, now I need you to just kind of evaluate me.
Feedback?
Yeah, feedback.
Cameron, I think you did a really good job. I'm not gonna lie. You really seemed prepared with the questions you were asking and just kind of what something like this could actually look like in a real environment. Mm-hmm. The way that you went over my rebuttals or my objections to what you had to offer were good. I also just think you could have made it sound a little bit more natural, maybe. With more of a conversation rather than just reading the script, but that's always room for improvement. But when you asked about what my competition was like, that was really strong, and I think you could have followed up more with how it impacts my revenue. Mm-hmm. and what else it impacts. But besides that, I think overall you did a really good job. You seemed very prepared and well informed about everything there is to know about your job and how that would go in the real space. So I can't really complain about anything else.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that feedback. I just so we can go over this because I'm going to have you fill out one too, but I just want to make sure that I hit everything in the rubric so that it's on video as well. I'm just going to read off the rubric and then rate me out of 2 on it.
Okay.
So building, okay. So if this is the criteria for the first one. So establishes trust, engages naturally, and demonstrates professionalism.
1 through 2?
Yeah.
1 being bad, 2 being good?
Yeah. Added 2, yeah.
Okay, 2.
Okay. Ask relevant questions to uncover buyer's needs and active listening.
2.
Clearly explains product, service, benefits tailored to the buyer's needs.
2.
Confidently addresses buyer concerns with thoughtful responses.
2.
And then uses appropriate closing techniques and secures next steps within the time frame.
2.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to go ahead and send you over the rubric as well so that you can edit what you think and then also write in a few comments for me.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
All right. I'm good?
Yep, you're all good.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. How do I stop this?